News, the city of Portland, a riot zone tonight. At least 4,000 protesters in the streets, windows smashed, buildings spray painted, cars damaged. The big question, did police wait too long to move in with riot gear? At 11 o'clock, good evening, I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Jennifer Hoff. There is a lot of damage, and it's very widespread from the Lloyd district to the Pearl district. We have team coverage on this. First, let's get straight to our Cole Miller, who's live with an update. Cole?
Well, Jennifer, Jeff, good evening. Like you said, this started as a peaceful protest, but there were people involved with this protest. Unfortunately, that caused some of that damage we see now. Right now, we are on Southwest 6, right coming up on the Portland State University campus. So, if we can, maybe let's take a look at Chopper 6. I believe Chopper 6 is flying from above. It's hard to get a good idea of the size of this crowd just from the street. But again, this has been going on for hours. It started with one event at Pioneer Courthouse Square. That event then moved to Salmon Street Springs to move up with an LGBTQ rally. And then from there, they made their way over the Hawthorne Bridge, up Grand, where we saw a couple of altercations with drivers. Again, unfortunately, we did see some of that tonight. I actually started my night at Holiday Park. From there, it was a march down Broadway. If we're able to take the video now from earlier, you can see video now of a crowd marching across the Broadway Bridge into Northwest Portland, into the Pearl District. And Jeff, Jennifer, that's where we started to see a lot of that damage on Northwest Lovejoy. Windows smashed out at multiple banks, Chase Bank, Bank of America. Unfortunately, a restaurant was also damaged. But again, Portland police say those were the anarchists of this group. For the most part, it really has been peaceful. We were talking with folks along the march route here who say this is not what they wanted. They did not want that violence. They did not want that damage. From Northwest Lovejoy, from the Pearl District, they then moved to the park blocks near West Burnside. From there, that's where we saw officers with Portland Police and Oregon State Police in riot gear, essentially boxing people in on West Burnside between Broadway and 8th. From there, they broadcast a message saying anybody who was still in the street would be subject to arrest. From there, people went scattering in all directions, really. A few people stayed behind, and they were taken into custody. It's unclear if anyone's actually been arrested or charged with anything tonight, but again, police had warned marchers, warned these protesters that they would use less than lethal force, those beanbag rounds, tear gas, that sort of thing. From there, we came back to Pioneer Courthouse Square. That was pretty peaceful for the most part. And then another group came up Morrison, right there by the Transit Mall. And that's where we are now. You can see we continue marching against traffic on Southwest 6. Southwest 6 runs northbound. We're heading south. We're coming up here, trying to find the cross street, on Southwest Hall. So again, this continuing well into the night, this anti-Trump protest. We've heard those "not my president" chants. Unfortunately, there's also some language and some words you may see out here. But again, there's a lot of emotion here. That's pretty evident. So we're going to continue to follow this march. Be sure to check in with us later. We'll let you know if anything else pops. But for now, Jeff, Jennifer, we'll send it back to you.
Cole, thank you. And please be safe out there. This is the third night that these protesters have been out there. It started very small, to be clear, with a group of peaceful protesters and quickly turned into what police called a riot tonight.
Well, Sergeant Pete Simpson from the Portland Police Bureau joins us on the phone right now. Sergeant, I know it's a very busy night, so thank you for your time. Pete, what's the situation right now? What can you tell us?
Well, folks are back out marching after leaving Pioneer Square. We were able to make some arrests in the North Park Blocks area. I don't have a number yet, but that was sort of at the end of the damage spree that occurred in the Pearl District. And we made some arrests and got the crowd back to Pioneer Square, but they have gone to the streets again.
Pete, I know it's difficult to make decisions like this. The police during the last two nights have been pretty lenient with the protesters, letting them sort of blow off steam. The protests, for the most part, were pretty peaceful. And tonight, the anarchists, the people who wanted to cause trouble, joined those protests, damaging property as we're seeing here. Did police wait too long to move in tonight? Was that just a tough judgment call?
Well, it's a judgment call that we have to factor in a lot of different things to include the resources at our disposal, the crowd size, and just general crowd dynamics. With 4,000 estimated people in a crowd tonight, if we are going in to arrest, a few people that had created damage, the crowd around them may not know that. They may not know why we're going in there, and
Right.
it can turn very quickly. And we've seen plenty of times where just police presence can be a flashpoint for things happening, and we try to avoid that as much as we can. But the challenge is always making the right call, and we're constantly evaluating that and trying to figure out the best way to manage things and respect the fact that there are a lot of people in this crowd tonight that are peaceful, and there's a lot of people that want to be out there and protest but not be part of property damage. And we've spoken with some of the folks with Black Lives Matter that are familiar to us, and they have tried, and they understand this is not them. This is an anarchist group that is hijacked and inserted itself in a larger crowd.
So it's clear there are several groups here involved. How do you know who to arrest then? Where is that decision process?
Well, that's one of the challenges is, at a very base level, everybody in the street, everybody blocking traffic has committed a crime, but the reality is the people we want to arrest are the ones that are the instigators and the people committing, property damage and violence. What we have to do is figure out a way to get in there and pick those people off without creating bigger issues. And unfortunately, there's just a lot of folks that don't understand that we really just want that guy, not all these people,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and Pete, we did see police today giving protesters, when they sat down and refused to move, plenty of time to move on before they moved in and made arrests. And then even as they made arrests, they allowed them to leave if they wanted to. And so that part of the process seemed peaceful. But this is always a very tough situation when you have anarchy on city streets, police trying to deal with it, realizing that a lot of the protests are peaceful, and it's always anarchists or people who want to cause trouble who join the protests. So Portland turned into a riot zone tonight. It's not something anybody wanted, anybody wants to see.
Sergeant Simpson, thank you for your time and explaining some of that tonight. And those protesters are still on the move, and no doubt a long night for police.